Mother, man.
This is Joachim Kroll, and when I eat the children, I do it with Metal Mayhem.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem! All right, what the hell is up here? It's a little different. Got everybody's remote tonight, and it's Tuesday, and we're throwing down a new Murder Metal Mayhem, and I'm here at Horns High Studios for the Horns High Podcast Network, episode 207, happening tonight. And Chris, you feeling a little under the weather and doing this remotely? How you doing over there?
Figured I'd do it from home. Figured I'd do it from home instead of getting around and feeling all fucked up other places.
Yeah, and your dedication to Murder Metal Mayhem is exemplary, because I know we've all done a few episodes under the weather, so it sucks when it's got to be you.
Right.
Joey, how about you over there in the 419?
Not doing too bad over here hanging out. My whole fucking day, I don't know why, it just felt like a Monday to me for whatever reason, but I've been at work like fucking every day forever. Like since I saw Chris and Courtney, fucking I've had to work every single day.
Oh, wow.
At least a little bit. Yeah, and fucking so for whatever reason my head was so fucked up. I'm like, kept thinking it's Monday, and like 4 times today I had to tell myself, oh fuck, we got the podcast tonight. You got to go on the podcast.
Right.
That's
I was
funny.
like, I can't go to Detroit and get a bunch of fucking weed. I got to do the podcast. What the fuck?
Yeah, definitely, and it would not be good if you forgot about us. We would feel injured. All right. Well, last week, the T-shirts. Chris, what are you wearing over there? The Nation.
I got on the yellow fucking a Born in Grind Media shirt. Fucking represent fucking goddamn Georgia.
Nice. And Joey, you look like you've got a Disney-inspired shirt going on over there.
I got the coat hanger abortion shirt because our buddy fucking Eric Grand, who fucking does Blasphemation, and he does Tampa Death Fest and Grind Fest, listener to the fucking show and fucking supporter, but he just announced the fucking Tampa Grind Fest fucking lineup.
I saw.
I'm playing that, but also Coat Hanger Abortion, the shirt that I'm wearing, they're headlining the second day. So
nice.
Okay.
I was gonna say congrats. I saw that lineup. That's killer, dude.
Hell yeah,
awesome. And I'm wearing my Death Sound of Perseverance T-shirt. So, and I got CCK behind me wearing his Metal Blade shirt as always. So we are chilling the fuck out and ready to do some Murder Metal Mayhem. Now, last week we hammered out our first episode of 2023 with a feature on the acid bath murderer. Chris, that was a pretty brutal one, man.
Yeah, that's a good way to get rid of bodies, I guess, if you're not going to leave pieces and shit.
Right. But he should have boned up on his law because he screwed up on that whole corpus delicti thing.
Body. Yeah, that doesn't mean you can't get fucking indicted or whatever on the fucking shit.
Right. So that was a sick and twisted UK case going back to the 1940s with that demented bastard and, the whole acid bath thing, which is just, Joey, we talked about that. I mean, that's one of those cases like that you definitely know because, that's so shocking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people know it, but I'm hoping that our listeners, our loyal listeners that listen to our podcast of it, I hope that we gave them a little bit of new information that got a little more insight into how crazy that case was.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Right.
I mean, we did pretty well on listens. We're passing 900 to it today, so that's good.
Hell yeah.
So we appreciate you guys that did check it out. If you missed it, though, I also did the metal feature on heavy metal parking lot. Guys, did I do that justice there last week?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
If any of you listeners ever check that out after you heard about that. Let us know, because that shit's classic as fuck.
Yeah, and I posted the link to it on our Facebook group. So if you're a listener and you do Facebook, I've got it there. I need to put it permanently on our website. I think that would be really cool. So it's just so rich, man. It's just good stuff. So I did that. Yeah. We did a killer cage match. You and Joey, Chris, had a great New Year's Eve story, which was good, about you guys being able to visit. So that was a good episode. So if you missed it, go check out episode 206. Like I said, passing 900 to that one today. Tonight, though, we're going to be doing a case. I bet a lot of our listeners have no idea what this one's about. A German case. So we're going back over to Germany for probably the ugliest bastard I think I've ever seen in my life, Joey. I mean, what the fuck with this dude?
That motherfucker looks like he waits under a bridge and makes you ask 3 questions to get across.
He does, dude. That's why I was saying last week he looked like something from under a bridge, you know. And
I'd have called him Kroll the Troll if I had been able to bully him.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, this dude is just bizarre looking and just freaky. So old Joachim Kroll, the German serial killer that was active from 1955 to 1976. So Jesus Christ, 21 years. Brutal. He was found guilty of only killing 8, but he confessed to 14. And with that long amount of time that he was killing, there is a pretty good chance there's some more. But this was one horrible motherfucker. I mean, we're talking checking all the boxes: pedophile, cannibal, necrophile. I mean, all around just fucking
bestiality.
Horror, yeah, bestiality. I forgot about that. So this dude is just fucking whacked. And I'm anxious to get into this one in the murder segment. So that should be good. That should definitely be good. Yeah. Chris, you got the horns tonight, and what did you decide to do?
Doing motherfucking goddamn gore, porno, grind, cock and ball torture.
Cock and ball torture. Definitely your grandma's, probably favorite band. Little German grindcore. I had never heard them before. I've heard of them, but I never listened to them. So I was listening to it today when I was ripping some audio, and it was like, holy shit, this is definitely some sick shit.
I was like listening to him over the weekend. I was on Spotify and I searched up cock and ball torture. And you know how it gives you different suggestions when you type shit into Spotify or whatever.
Right.
Fucking one of the suggestions was for this podcast called fucking the Smut Pod podcast. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I click on it, and it is literally all it is audio from pornos. That's it. It's just porno audio.
Oh wow, that's funny.
I was like, what the
fuck? So yeah, that should be good tonight to hear about something I don't know anything about. Always love doing that. And so I got a lost classic for us, another German band. So we're going with all German tonight on the bumper music. So that should be cool.
Oh, yeah.
And so stay tuned for the metal segment to hear about some of that. And we got a brand new killer cage match, guys. That's one of our favorite times. 75 killers, 75 objects for them to fight with. They're going to fight to death in the cage, and we get our listeners to give us those random numbers. Chris, who do we want to say thank you to this week?
Tonight we have Justin Morris, Juan Molina, and Ray Bad Mofo McFalls.
Hell yeah, Juan Molina there, blessed with pain. That's awesome, and good to see old Ray McFalls back there, and our friend Justin. So that's very cool. And we got an interesting matchup tonight in the cage, Joey. What do you think about this?
Well, tonight we got that little old man Ed Gein,
right?
Likes to make shit out of human bodies for his house, and he's gonna go up against fucking Peter Curtin, the Vampire Dusseldorf. So this will be a pretty fun one.
Yeah, it definitely is a weird matchup. Just Ed Gein fighting anybody seems like a mismatched situation, but it'll be interesting because those objects, Chris, can always change things dramatically with what's happening. So and variables, music. We got it all. So that'll be in the Mayhem segment. So you want to check back for that and keep listening. Big thanks to everybody out there who listens to the podcast. We keep seeing the numbers rolling in. We were about 2,500 listens this last week, so thank you very much. And make sure you guys...
We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, make sure you guys check out the new website, murdermetalmayhem.com. You can pretty much do everything there related to what we're doing and listen and buy some merch and do some reading about why we do the podcast and how it all started and some good pictures. So there's that, murdermetalmayhem.com. Now, I checked in, guys. We are at 640,000 total listens.
Ooh, so
getting there at 666.
That's right. We're 26,000 listens away. So we're getting there, and we appreciate you guys that do listen and keep on spreading that word so we can get more listens and get closer to that ever elusive 666,000 total listens to Murder Metal Mayhem.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, guys, we got a lot on our plate tonight. We're going to be taking another trip across the pond, heading to Germany, where the beers are flowing. And unfortunately, so are the sick and twisted serial killers. So, Chris?
Hey, man, like having a lot on your plate with tonight's dude is not a good thing. So, but let's get our murder on.
All right, that was Surgical Strike, a great German band. We interviewed them a while back, and that was their song.
I thought we did.
Yeah, I really like those guys. 527, good band, killer thrash metal. So German, keeping with that German theme tonight. So, all right, well, we're going to be talking about the case of Joachim Kroll. I've heard it pronounced a few different ways, but that's about the closest I can get to it. German serial killer who's actively killing, as we said, from 1955 to 1976, which is nuts. He really stayed under the radar, so it's very possible that the body count is much higher than reported.
Right.
He was known to have killed 8 women and girls, but, you know, we talked about pedophile, necrophile, cannibal, and Chris, you mentioned bestiality. So this dude is just awful, complete piece of shit. The youngest victim was only 4. The oldest was 61. So just a wide range there. And he confessed to 14 murders that took place in the industrial areas of Western Germany. The police captured the wrong dude and put him in prison for years before the truth came out. And this is one of the ugliest bastards I think I've ever seen. And definitely like something out of a horror movie, man. I don't even know what
I might have to draw old Joachim Kroll for the new activity book.
That would be a good one, dude. Definitely. Especially with those crazy glasses he's got on.
Kroll the Troll will make that for sure.
Yeah, right. Well, Chris, Kroll is definitely one that a lot of true crimes are probably not going to know about. But if this guy wasn't tailor-made for Murder Metal Mayhem, I don't know who is.
He's definitely one of the ones that we need to talk about, is the vile acts that he committed. And like you said, the way he looks is just scary anyway. Fucking
right.
He had a rough childhood growing up and shit. So
he really did. And like if you looked up serial killer in the dictionary, this guy would definitely be there. It just so fucking creepy, man. I just get a kick out of it. But we do like to do the obscure cases, so I think this is definitely a good one for us to do. And Joey, it's amazing to think this guy stayed under the radar for that long a period of time, but he was so careful. The way he picked his victims out, really did his homework.
Yeah, he was pretty meticulous, and everything was pretty much, stayed in the shadows until the very last one that we'll get to. But overall, yeah, he was like a boogeyman for sure.
Yeah, he was able to stay, I think just because he was doing it away from home, which we're going to talk about, that is definitely a huge way to keep yourself off the radar, is not kill close to home. So, but, yeah, I mean, and, like guys like the Green River Killer, I mean, they proved that you don't necessarily have to be the smartest guy in the room to stay under the radar,
Definitely not with this guy. Jesus.
I mean, Green River was what, 60, 70 victims or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, holy shit.
Yeah.
And he was like barely average intelligence, but he was just smart the way he did it, very cunning. And of course, with Green River, he's killing, prostitutes, which we've talked about that, many times, of how they don't seem to be looked at as actively when it's prostitutes being murdered. But nonetheless, I mean, that's a lot of bodies to keep doing, without the police knowing it's you. So
Definitely.
It's like BTK too, it's a different circumstance because he was pretty much done with his crimes. Dennis Rader was,
right.
and he just got himself caught up. But at the same time, it was just, he was stayed under the radar somehow.
Yeah, it's really amazing how they're able to do that,
Raider under the radar.
Now, this one I never heard of before, and I just stumbled upon this documentary, and I'm like, oh my God, we got to do this one. And I just knew from looking at this guy that we were definitely going to get this case eventually. And, we're going to do our best with some of these German words tonight, but Chris, you're our resident expert on the German language. So we'll rely on you tonight, Chris, to make sure we stay straight. So,
Sounds
all right.
great.
So Joachim Kroll is born 1933 in Hindenburg, Germany. Now, if ever a place would be so telling of bad things to come, we all know about the Hindenburg crash from 1937. So this guy comes from a town of the same name only 4 years before that horrible accident. So I did my homework and checked that out. So I was thinking, man, that had to be about the same time. So it was funny. It was only 4 years away. But he was
look up Hindenburg. It isn't even a city in Germany. It ain't even a town in Germany anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you look it up, it's not even. I think it's part of fucking Poland. I think.
Okay, interesting.
Something.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's a totally different name.
Huh? I didn't know that. So he was 6 of 9 kids. So his father's a coal miner. Later became a prisoner of war during World War II. They're from East Germany. And were kicked out of after World War II to West Germany. And for you listeners out there that are young, may not realize that at one time, Germany was 2 different countries, East and West. And when the Berlin Wall came down in the late 80s, then that put an end to that. So
take down that wall, Mr. Gorbachev.
That's right. So, Chris, like you said, man, he had a rough go, man. His family's incredibly poor and living in some sparse fucking conditions, man.
Yeah, he had. I can't remember how many siblings he had. He had like fucking.
There was 9 kids
siblings.
total. So yeah,
9. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I can't remember how many, but there was a bunch of them. They're all packed into this place,
right?
And it's a couple of things I said that like whenever one of the other kids like did some shit and they got caught, they'd always blame it on fucking Joachim fucking like he did it. So like he couldn't build no relationship with his siblings because they're blaming everything they do on him. Like he's your little fucking scapegoat.
Yeah, they definitely were mean and would blame everything on him, which, I mean, I know kids do that shit, but we see this a lot with these cases we do where these kids are picked on. And in this case, he was really picked on at first at home, so he had this just really shitty home life. And, this tiny apartment, and he felt like he was alone even with his own family, which is fucking sad, man.
Yes, it is.
Now, Joey, he's a scrawny kid with a very low IQ. So this dude is just not born with many attributes here.
No, he's given the short end of the stick, so to speak, and
right.
Has a lot of trouble socially, on top of the fact of everything he had going on in his home life, and he just, it seemed like he was turned on to hatred at an early age, and he's going to show that show it off to people as well, and he couldn't contain it seems like. But yeah, everything fucking added up, sent him on a fucking terrible path for sure.
Yeah, it's really sad. I mean, this is one where the home situation really did, not help matters. But the fact he's born with the, low IQ and real small like that.
Was it an IQ only like 76 or some shit like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Stupid low.
Right. But definitely a very low IQ, which is not going to help anything.
Shows you don't have to, like you said earlier, it shows you definitely don't have to be smart to get away with shit. Like,
no,
you don't have to be a genius about everything. Like, because he was not smart, but
no,
yeah,
it's amazing he was able to get away for that long. Now, I saw that he was so withdrawn that he hardly spoke because he met with so much abuse from everyone around him. And we've talked about bullying as being part of what makes these guys tick, but I think, this kid would have been fucked up with, all sorts of ways at school, between his home life and then the kids at school and just this horrible, poor, impoverished environment. I mean, this is like how to make a serial killer, basically. It's awful. Now, once he starts going to school, like I said, things aren't going to get any better. He's getting fucked with nonstop. His father signed him up for the Hitler Youth, which is sort of an ROTC for German kids to indoctrinate them into the Nazi party. This does not work out well for him either. So he's not fitting in even with those fucking whack jobs. So it is a very, very sad situation. But yeah, I mean, Chris, that just sounds crazy to think his dad's signing him up for that shit,
Yeah, I mean, fucking Nazi Germany wasn't a pleasant fucking place for anybody unless you were a Nazi, I guess. But
true.
Fucking seeing like chicks getting raped like by fucking all over the place by any soldier in general, obviously, fucking they just do what they want.
Right.
And fucking like even now today in the Middle East, like kids with bombs blowing themselves up and shit. Like you start witnessing that, it's gonna fuck with your head a whole lot, man. So
yeah, it desensitizes you to violence when you're seeing all that shit going on everywhere, right? I mean, like I feel bad for these kids, growing up in places in the world where all this conflict is always happening and all this violence. I mean, it's got to be terrible for them, feeling safe as a kid. I mean, how could you feel safe in that kind of chaos, but
exactly.
Now, Joey, as a teenager, he starts working on farms, and the nice, the bad shit doesn't stop fucking coming onto this dude, man.
I mean, he's apparently not a very good farmhand.
Right.
Doesn't do too hot, and the farmers like basically fucking beat him for being fucking so terrible at being a farmer or a farmhand.
But now you're fucking out there on your own, and now your boss is beating your ass and shit. Like what?
Yeah. I mean, everywhere he went, it just seemed like there was some kind of violence attributed to every situation. So his whole path was violence. So of course he was going to fall into that.
Yeah, and he was really awkward with women, and almost to the point where he was too forward, and obviously that's going to take him, aback. And then also the way this dude looked, I mean, it was just such a little freak. I mean, I'm sure that nobody wanted anything to do with him.
Right.
I gotta wonder too, like with all the abuse he was getting and the way that he grew up, like you don't just get into bestiality and you know, and he's like hating women like right off the bat, and because he doesn't know how to talk to him and shit. But I wonder how much he was subjected to being forced to do shit at such an early age, you know, that
Right.
he was having trouble like fucking processing it later on in life.
It's very possible, man. And this kid was just, man, it was just one thing after another. Nobody treated him right. And at this time, he's working at the farm. He's getting really into the butchery of animals to the point where he's basically loving it, to the point where he is having sex with the fucking animals, which is fucked up. A little bestiality.
And that's all you got to do is see a little pig slaughter to get off. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I can't
maybe
imagine.
it's a Cannibal torture song,
right? I don't know where you equate the murder of animals with sexual gratification. That just is so disturbing. But you know, the way this guy was raised and how terrible he was treated. I mean, you know, he had to find some outlet, you know, some way to express himself. I don't know, but it's fucked up.
Didn't he say some shit like he figured it out because he found a way to have sex with something that wouldn't fight back or something?
Oh,
after he fucking killed him and shit. Like,
oh wow, no, I hadn't heard that. Yeah,
that'd be that's a weird way of looking at things.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, the fact that he's, you know, awkward socially, nobody's fucking likes him. He's beat on everywhere he goes. It's no surprise that this dude is about ready to fucking blow a gasket here after he gets done fucking blowing the fucking horse. So also he's getting into this shit, and Chris, he's finally able to have control over something. So you think maybe that was the thing with the bestiality, was the fact that he's able to finally get control over something in his life?
I mean, look, I ain't into bestiality by any means, or look forward to it, but why would you go try and fuck a cow? Those things are fucking huge. They'll stomp you into the ground.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, what is it, Joey? Sometimes a sheep just needs to be pushed to the fence.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to even imagine having that sort of feeling about animals, but I don't know. I mean, it sounds like this guy might have been a fun guy to party with, you know? I mean, shit.
If he was in your crew, you'd just be like, hey, guys, like $20 I can give him to go fuck that sheep.
Yeah, right? Hey, Joachim, tell him about that pig you fucked the other day. Joey, I heard he was staying at a hostel with some male coworkers and wanted to know what the inside of a cat looked like. Did you see that?
Yeah, so he fucking beat it to death and fucking ripped it open. The motherfucker's he's working at a slaughterhouse, so he's seeing bigger animals get butchered. He knows what those insides look like. He wants to see what this little fucking cat's insides look like.
Right.
Yeah,
that's pretty fucked up. I can't imagine what the roommates were thinking while all that was going down.
I'll tell you fucking something funny that happened. Was whenever I was in the Voff and Forest with the skiing bitches and shit in those days.
Right.
Whenever I first started hanging out with Clay, cemetery rapist, like he was still underage, like he couldn't drink, he couldn't be up at the bars, but the Horseshoe, which is now closed down anyway, so I can say whatever I want about it, but I used to bring him up there all the fucking time. And we would get fucking drunk as shit and just hang out because that was my fucking bar at the time. So fucking, you know, that's just the way it was. But I remember, so he's up there like getting drunk and getting fucked up at an early age for the first time. And he's meeting all these people up there in Forest and shit. And one of our buddies fucking came up to him and he was like wearing Carhartt and fucking all rednecked out and shit, fucking farmer. And he started talking to Clay, and Clay's all drunk, and he starts telling Clay, he's like, yeah, around here they call me the goat fucker because I go around and fuck goat. And he kept fucking telling him this all fucking night, just fucking with him. And Clay was like, bro, is that dude for real? Like, is he the goat fucker? And like, it became a whole fucking thing. So anyway,
That's awesome.
this reminded me of that. But,
The goat fucker.
Yeah,
That's good
the
stuff.
goat fucker. But yeah, the cat guts, man. The motherfucker killed the cat, beat it, fucking showed off the cat guts to the other boys, and they
Yeah.
didn't seem too amused by it though.
No, I'm thinking not.
No, not really.
I'd be looking
They're
for
like,
another
hey,
place to
don't
live,
fuck
man.
with cats. Yeah.
I'd be looking for another place to crash. Now he gets this weird childlike innocence mixed with this fucked up sense of humor and the whole awkward social thing. He's just such a bizarre like combination here. He's getting into now blow up dolls that he would tie up and hang from the ceiling in his room. So this had to be a sight. After his
Dude,
mother, what's that?
Like before he started all this killing and shit, like he used to like give all the kids in the neighborhood candy and shit, so they were all
Yeah,
cool with him anyway. And it was weird because all the parents are like, okay, well, because it was low IQ or whatever,
right.
and think none of it. And then when he starts killing, it's like, how do you not suspect this guy, creepy guy, that's hanging with your kids all day?
Yeah, exactly. Definitely very creepy for sure.
He's like fucking Dean Coral and shit.
A little bit,
Right?
yeah, a little bit. So after his mom dies in 1955, Kroll begins killing just 3 weeks later. His mother was the only person in the world that he could relate to, so it makes sense that her death would leave him angry, and that she's now gone, and he kills to kind of soothe that, but that doesn't last long, and eventually he's got to kill again. And she was the only positive thing in his life. So now she's gone, and it's definitely got him fucked up. So he reacts with that first victim, 19-year-old woman, an hour from his home, which is in Duisburg. He rides the bus or train to get to these victims. So he's very smart that he's doing it away from home. He tries to grab her and kiss her. She fights him, and then he ends up raping and stabbing her to death, leaving her disemboweled corpse in a barn. So, sounds like a Cannibal Corpse song. Fucking brutal.
Disemboweled corpse in a barn. Like, yeah, sounds like a interspecies erotica song.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Chris, the rejection of that girl is what really sets him off, man. He just rages the fuck out.
Right. Yeah. I think that's originally when he said that shit about like, if I had figured out how I can freaking have sex with, because he was like impotent and shit. He said, so he's like, I figured out, that's when he originally said, I figured out how I can have sex with a girl as long as she's not fighting back. It's cool. Like,
Wow.
so now here I go. And now he reminds me seriously a lot of Chikatilo.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see some similarities between those two. I mean, definitely a warped sense of fucking sexual gratification. That's for goddamn fucking sure.
He just fucking snaps out.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's a lot of him. With him, it's that ability to control. He could control these women or these girls because they're dead. And that's fucked up to think of it that way, but that's for sure. Now, Joey, he kills his victims very much the same way. How does he's kind of stalking and kind of watching them, and then how does he strike, man?
Oh yeah, he definitely trolls these people, fucking checking them out, watching, and he sees a victim that he wants, and then he'll go for it. But his whole deal was coming up from behind them,
Right?
Because usually it was a younger person, female, or just a little woman. Because I mean, this dude's not fucking strong at all, so his chances of overpowering somebody are a little less percentage than some of the other killers we talk about.
Right.
So he comes up from behind, small person, grabs him up, fucking strangles him and chokes him out, and that was pretty much his MO. I don't know. He wanted, like Chris said, like his sexual gratification came after they were already done fighting. Like, he didn't fucking care about that. He was going to have sex with them when they were just object, I guess you would say.
Right.
And so the whole killing part, he just needed that to be over as quickly as possible, and then he could do what he really wanted.
Yeah, I think you're right, dude. I think you're right. So he would later tell police that he ate his victims because it was the only meat he could eat.
Because it was cheap.
Yeah, he wasn't doing it for bragging rights on death row. I mean, this was like some legit, shit here with this dude. And I'm sure it was another way of getting control. We talked about that before when we, had the Dahmer episode and so many of those cannibals. It's that control thing. They wanted, the victims with them forever. Wouldn't you guys agree with that, with this guy maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The media called him the Duisburg cannibal. I saw the police were getting bad press for giving Kroll cake during his confessions, which went on for days. And the media is sort of claiming that they're like bribing him with cake for confessions. And it reminded me of old Henry Lee Lucas with the Pall Malls. Yeah. So I was like, man, this is like, the German version of that, But yeah, all this guy wanted was a little cake, and they fucking gave it to him, and he was telling them everything they needed to know. So you know how the media is, though. I mean, they're fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of the media, we were watching something last night on the OJ trial and all that.
Yeah.
And I forgot about a lot of the detail shit, but it's like the ridiculous amount of overwhelming evidence that he did it. And they found him not guilty. And it's just, even knowing what the outcome is, it still seems like shocking to hear that. It's just so ridiculous. All right. So, Chris, running down the list of this guy's victims, it looks like he struck about every 2 or 3 years, which is quite a bit of time between victims.
It is, but like his victim range is like very wide gap. Like, because the youngest one was 4 and the oldest one was 61. So like
Right.
he didn't care, whatever. But most of them were like teenage girls or whatever.
Right.
But there was the one dude that he killed. Out of all of them, there was one that him and his girl were in their car or whatever.
Right.
Okay, he got out of the car. He ends up stabbing him, and she takes off like, well, he's dead. I'm out. Fuck that. Like, I ain't getting killed. But yeah, there was the one dude that he killed. And even though she had a description of him, they couldn't fucking find him even after that.
Wow.
So it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that two to fucking 3-year window though. Like, I think his appetite for the blood and everything, I think there was more going on in between the 2 to 3 year gap.
That's what I think, man. That just seems like an awfully long time for a guy to cool off that long amount of time, unless he was just super careful and wanted that distance. I don't know.
Right.
But Joey, most of the details of this guy's murders are fucking brutal. I mean, dismembering, carving pieces off the bodies, disembowelment. I mean, this is like, the most fucking heinous shit, out there. I mean, horrible stuff.
Yeah, he was brutal. I mean, he enjoyed killing. He enjoyed having sex with the dead bodies. So he was in his element through all of it. And, like we were talking about, most of the deaths were strangulations. But, I mean, he didn't always do that either. There was a 13-year-old that on Easter in 1962, he strangled her with her own scarf.
Right.
And then there was, this other 5-year-old, and I think this was like 4 years later after that happened, and he ended up drowning her in a stream. And he said he did that because he just wanted to see what it felt like to drown someone. So
Right.
he is definitely like, his MO's changing up just because he's trying to experience the different ways of doing it. So
Yeah.
pretty weird.
Yeah, definitely. Just some really perverse, horrible shit. And I did see, though, I mean, it happened more than once, but in one of the cases, The boyfriend of one of the victims in 1966 was falsely accused of his murder, and he was eventually let out of prison when they realized he was wrong. But I mean, there were other ones like that. I mean, that's pretty fucking horrible, man.
And there was like multiple people that ended up going to prison. A couple of them ended up dying.
Yeah.
For a crime he committed.
Yeah. Unfucking believable, man. So
they were saying when he killed can't remember which fucking victim, 16-year-old girl. Oh, Manuela Knott. He killed her, but after fucking mutilating her, he fucking masturbated over the body, and fucking he came all over her face and her genitals and shit. And there was so much that whenever the officers first fucking found the scene and shit, they thought it was multiple people that did it,
Right.
multiple guys. But
oh wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
fucking weirdo.
That's fucked up, man. That's definitely fucking whacked. So there's another 11-year-old victim in 1970 that had an innocent man put in prison for the murder. He lived close by and was a father and was accused. Some of the neighbors didn't help him out by fucking making him sound really guilty. So eventually he gets released, but commits suicide 6 months later because they harassed him so much and they didn't believe he was innocent, so he couldn't live with himself. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're like chasing him down the street, calling him murderer and everything. And dude's like, didn't do nothing. He's like, why are these people ostracizing me like this? And yeah, he's like, I can't take it no more. Fuck
yeah, it's fucking horrible, man. They had his daughter on one of these. I just like fucking heart-wrenching shit. And it was the 4-year-old, though, the last victim, that proved to be the ending of old Joachim Kroll, because he fucked up and killed a girl who lived on the same block as he did. So it didn't take them long to figure out who the creepy weird dude is that liked to give candy to little kids. But they had no idea that he would be behind so many, and that definitely fucked them, knocked their ass for a loop. He began to take the police to the different crime scenes. He had this photographic memory, which is amazing.
Yeah, I thought that was strange that like his little like how smart he was not like me. But yeah, that his memory though, like he just retained shit.
Yeah.
And, like it's crazy, like going to the places and he could remember like certain trees. Okay, this is what happened at this spot.
Right.
It's so weird.
It is, to think that they can have that sort of memory and be, a very low intelligence like that. Just incredible. So there were cases where he wasn't able to figure out the areas, but, a lot of that was due to like new construction and, things looking different. So, no big surprise there. But, he was pretty accurate. And Chris, the police are building up a timeline for these murders, but there's these gaps that they just really couldn't be sure, what happened in that, span of time.
See, that fucking whole photographic memory thing, because he couldn't remember they'd say something, he's like, I can't remember, but then something would pop up into his head or whatever, and like, oh yeah, I remember that now. It, like some visual or whatever would pop up. It's like, I remember what happened. Like, that's what I thought was weird about the whole, once he got to the site, like everything came back, like flooding back, like what exactly happened.
Right.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, with incredible detail too on some of them, which is just uncanny. Yeah. So Joey, the cops need to put a stop to all this shit. Because it's going on for days. I think they're running out of cake there at the fucking police station, man.
Well, and not to mention, they had enough cases, especially like back then. Like nowadays, like they'll fucking get 150 fucking charges on you just to make sure they stick to,
Right.
But back then they had enough to put him away for like basically ever anyway.
Right.
Or whatever they were going to do to him, they had him. So they were like, okay, 151 days though. That's a long fucking time.
Right.
And I mean, how much you got to go over in that fucking time? And it's all horrendous shit that these people are listening to over and over and over. Like,
right.
Yeah, we got to put a stop to it. That's it.
Yeah, and it is too bad the families can't get that closure that I'm sure they really want. But yeah, at what point do you
Right,
just
yeah.
turn it off and say, okay, this guy's going to be, you know, in prison for fucking 20,000 years. I don't think he's going anywhere, you know.
Yeah, it's not going goddamn anywhere.
So at least the family of the man who killed himself after being accused of killing that 11-year-old would, you know, finally know that it was Kroll and not their, you know, dad or their, you know, husband.
That doesn't
or
bring
whatever.
him back, though, does it?
It doesn't, but at least his memory is not, you know, that, which would be
The
fucking horrible.
memory remains.
Is that Sick Ripper I hear in the background?
Oh, that was pretty close, yeah.
It's sad that he has to kill himself, like you said, Joe. He can't bring him back, you know, or Chris said they can't bring him back. There was actually 2 other men who killed themselves after being dragged into this bullshit. So unbelievable.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, holy shit. I wondered if I was reading that right, but I read that in more than one spot. So there were 3 of them, guys accused, imprisoned in some cases, and then suicides. Like, wow.
And like,
Yeah, they should be on his body count too.
I was just going to
Right,
say
that's
that.
true.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
should be, because that's just collateral damage for sure.
and I know at least one of those, maybe a couple of them, one of them killed himself, especially because everybody that was in his neighborhood and everything else was still being like, yeah, you're the sicko, you're the fucking, you know, dude that did this. And
yeah,
man, that's got to be so rough because you can't even you're like, no, I didn't fucking do this, but no one's believing me. You fucking lose your mind, you know?
right.
They let me out of prison. I didn't do this. Like, what the fuck, man?
Right. And Chris, you had mentioned that he was popular in the neighborhood, old Uncle Joachim, they called him. And he would be, you know, handing out candy and all about these little kids, which, you know, we all know people like that. And they're the most 99 times out of 100, they're harmless. But then you get this sick bastard. And I'm sure after they learned everything they did about him, they were lucky that their kids weren't part of that body count, you know?
Yeah. After you look at that, you're like, oh shit, my kid hung out with him all the time.
Right. So
I
they
feel
would.
sorry for these other families, but we're good.
Right. I mean, definitely going to freak people out once you find that out. But it's amazing how well he was able to hide it. And he didn't kill that last victim, you know, until 1976. Which is, you know, when he does that last one there close to home. And he's also dealing with a bad leg, which is why they say he did decide to go close to home. And over the years, I watched one of the detectives was saying that the killings kept getting closer and closer to his home because of his issue, I guess, he was having with this bad leg. So
I can't walk.
Maybe
I gotta wonder, too, if... Go ahead, Pete.
No, I was going to say, like BTK, as he got older, he had to kill older women because he wasn't strong enough to do it. So kind of the same thing, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, I feel like part of it, too, is you're getting away with all these murders, like, over and over and over. So you're getting more confident in one aspect of it that you're going to get away with it. But as far as, like, the proximity to his home getting closer, you got to wonder if that's also because, you know, in his daily rounds, going through his life, he starts seeing some of these same victims over and over and over, and he just obsesses on them. And I think, like, especially the one with the last little girl, that he just was like, no, I want that, and I can get away with this shit. So I think you just fucking start getting that God complex, and he's like, no, I want that, I'm gonna have it, and he took her.
Right.
But it was his undoing, though.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. So you know, it's you know, the police describe how odd this guy is. You know, Chris, they said they found a pan on the stove with some body parts in it. What was the deal with that?
Dude, well, there was like a whole hand in this pot of stew in there when they came into the fucking house. And then, like, when they opened the refrigerator, it was like Dahmer's refrigerator, except I guess it's a little more organized, but he just had pieces of human flesh all over, cooking it everything, and he was eating it.
Wow.
He said the younger ones, because they were more tender, like, which is fucking a sad thing to have somebody have to say. Like, I ate kids because they were tender.
Yeah, that's like some Albert Fish shit there.
Yeah,
right,
exactly like Albert Fish.
Albert, yeah, fucking.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. Fish. I was thinking game for a second, but yeah, fish.
Well, and then Fish took that fucking, or not, well, yeah, Fish, but this was almost exactly like the Grace Bud, where he fucking ended up taking the 15-year-old girl, cutting off her buttocks,
right?
And he brought it home and ate it, and it was like, this guy probably had a fucking study of Vampire Brooklyn himself.
Right.
And
right.
was probably very interested in repeating some of the things that he had done. Or it just seems that way, because he definitely fucking, the drinking the blood, all that. I bet he was fucking doing all that shit.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. This guy is definitely fucked up. Now, the cops start to figure out how to break through to this guy, because at first he was not wanting to talk, and one of the cops kind of wins him over. He finds out that he liked to fix things like TVs and stuff like that, so he starts talking to him about that. And then, then Kroll kind of thinking, oh, wow, I found somebody I could talk to, and he just kind of befriends him, and that's what gets him to kind of open up, I mean, that's smart on the cops' part to figure out, what they need to do to, communicate with this guy, man.
Yeah. Break the ice.
Between that and some fucking coffee cake, man, he's your buddy, man.
Honestly, once he started talking, though, he just let everything go. Like,
yeah,
I did it.
Yeah, Joey, I saw that he also tried to flush some of the body parts, kind of a Dennis Nilsson thing here. But apparently he had the same problem as Nilsson with the blocking up the drain, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, fucking, at least whenever Haig did an acid bath killer, he seemed to fucking get that shit down the drains,
Yeah, because it's basically liquefied.
Yeah, right. But this dude, he fucked it up, man. Fucking fucked his drains up. The neighbors were fucking pissed. His fucking place smells horrible. It's like fucking Dahmer or Gacy, you know what I'm saying, with all the body parts.
Oh,
and shit.
Man.
They were, I remember that, but they were talking to him and shit whenever they caught him, and he was talking about, the cannibalism and shit, because they found all the shit in his house, like Chris was talking about. But he was like, well, it's a very hard time right now, and it saved me money, so it's something that I did for economical reasons.
Right.
And that's fucked up, but I mean, I've heard that before in like other famine times. And
there was
like
one of those Russian cannibal episodes we did, that Sasha the Cannibal, I think, him and his mother were doing it to save money because they were so poor. Yeah, it's fucked up, man. That is serious.
There's that Sapphire pamphlet thing from back in the day. I can't remember exactly. It's this long ass one, but something about the benefit of rich people eating poor people's children to keep them off of their hands or whatever.
Oh,
I can't remember what it's about. I'll have to find that. Like, it's fucking hilarious.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up. So, when his neighbors complained, though, I saw that he told them it's just guts, so that they would have.
It's just guts.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Like, his neighbor didn't think he was like, oh, whatever, fucking old fucking Kroll being silly, and he goes up there and like, oh shit, and they found like, like a child's like organs in there, like liver and kidneys and whatnot, and then he fucking tried saying that he was just fucking skinned a rabbit, and it was from that.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, like that's not from a rabbit, homie. Fuck.
So he had a real attraction, what he called a funny feeling for that 4-year-old girl. So he was just really obsessed with her, and he winds up luring her into the apartment, strangled her with a stocking, and then did all sorts of barbaric shit with her body parts. She was simmering on the stove, like you said, Chris, when they walked into the apartment. So definitely fucked up.
Nuts,
The
man.
police would say he was totally emotionless. He told them, that he ate the flesh, like you said, Chris, for the money, to saving the money on his grocery bills. That's just so fucking crazy to think of that shit. So he's charged with 8 murders, even though he confessed to 14. The public was paying very close attention. The media's all over it, and they're certainly not helping, and they're feeding into this shit. Kroll is finally convicted in 1982 for the murders. He was sent to Rheinbach prison or Rheinbach prison for life. And then 9 years later, 1991, he dies of a heart attack at the age of 58. And that is definitely one of the most disgusting things that we've talked about on the podcast for a while. So definitely, yeah, he did. Definitely a fascinating case. But guys, anything to add to old Joachim Kroll? Definitely a fucked up story.
Nothing I can think of offhand.
Okay.
No, nothing on my end.
All right, very cool. Well, I did my research for this one by watching The World's Most Evil Killers. That was the first thing I watched on this dude. Really good. I love those episodes they do. They're always really good. I also used Murderpedia and Wikipedia for some of the details. I'm telling you, Wikipedia has been better lately than I've seen it in a long time. And I do always check stuff, but for the basic gist of it, it's really been helpful to use that. So I'm gonna totally
people actually wanting to find out or sick of it being dumb.
Probably. There's not a ton of stuff out there on this guy. I know there's some podcasts.
I was very surprised. I thought we've had this dude on the list for a while, and I knew the story fucking like for a while because it was so fucked up. And I couldn't believe whenever I started researching for this episode, like how little there was.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's amazing to find that out too, that there's just not a lot of it out there on some of these cases. Definitely, this guy was, just fucking creepy as fucking anybody else out there. That's for sure. Now,
I think I learned about him. The first time I heard about him was in the Encyclopedia of Serial Killers.
Oh, okay.
It's been fucking, reissued a few different times and updated, which is cool. But yeah, that was like, I got that whenever I was in my 20s or whatever, and that was like really cool for seeing some that you had never heard about before.
Right.
So that was a good resource for back then.
Yeah, definitely. Next week, guys, we're going to be doing another prison episode. Those are always our highest rated. I was amazed. I was looking at that again today, that almost every prison episode we've done is in the higher percentile of episodes listened to. So you guys definitely seem to dig it. And we're taking a trip.
You know what that means?
That's right. We got our buddy Tex coming on.
Though?
Tex will be on. We're going to be taking
prison official.
What's that?
I said our prison official.
Oh, our prison official. So yeah, he's going to be on there. And we're going to be taking a trip to the West Coast to the old infamous San Quentin prison. So definitely a brutal place. Chris, that should be a good one.
Yes, sir.
And good history there, and a who's who of convicts, that's for sure. And Tex is ready.
There's so many people in Quentin.
Oh, hell yeah. Danny Trejo. That's right, Danny Trejo. So that'd be cool if we get Danny Trejo on the show. That'd be awesome. So we're going to have Tex on with us, and that'll be awesome. So it's going to be good. The ladies, they love hearing Tex on here, and that may be why we get all those extra listens to the prison episodes, because he's always on there with us. So. All right, Joey, any good page of days for us today?
Yeah, bringing in 2023 strong. I got 2 of them. One of them's long, so I'll do that second, and one short. So thanks again, Page Day. So this first one is one that happened on today's day. It's January 17th as we're doing the podcast, and that's when this one occurred. But January 17th of 1950. And this is Boston, Massachusetts, and there's 11 men break into a Brinks armored car depot in Boston, pull off an unprecedented robbery, leaving almost no evidence behind. Now, planning for the robbery took 18 months, during which the robbers cased the depot, copied keys to get inside, stole a map of the alarm system before returning it unnoticed. And the job itself was like pretty much seamless. The robbers wore navy blue jackets, chauffeur caps, and Halloween masks. They let themselves in, tied up the employees. They filled 14 canvas bags with $2.7 million and fled. And it all took about 30 minutes long. For like 6 years, the robbers went undetected. They didn't even use the cash because what they were doing was they were waiting for the statute of limitations to run out, which would have been January 17th, 1956. But just a few days before that date, they were caught up because of bullshit within the fucking ranks, which is what happens.
Right.
Always.
One of the robbers made good on a threat to talk to the FBI, striking a deal with them after the others had put out an unsuccessful hit on him. So 8 of the robbers served time. 8 of the robbers served time, and 2 died awaiting trial. Almost none of the money was ever recovered, but legend has it that it's hidden in the hills north of Grand Rapids, Minnesota. So the Brinks robbery of 1950.
Very cool.
So
All right,
there's some more money out there, like fucking DB Cooper's money out there still and shit.
Oh yeah. Fucking One-Eyed Willie ship and shit.
Right.
Okay, so this is the second page today. This one's a little longer. This one's cool as fuck, though. This one, they're talking about the bog bodies of Northern Europe. So basically, since the 18th century, there have been nearly 1,000 bodies that have been found in the peat bogs of Northern Europe, some dating back as far as 8,000 before Christ, BC. They span countries, sexes, ages, social classes, but every one of them has one thing in common. They all died under violent circumstances. So the corpses, they were basically well preserved. The skin, internal organs, the nails, hair, stomach contents, and even some of the clothes remained. And that's because of the biology of these bogs up there. There's a molecule that's known as sphagnum, and it's found in decaying peat moss. And when it interacts with the enzymes released by the bacteria of putrefying corpses, it prevents the microbiomes from breaking down decaying matter. So actually, the only thing missing from these bodies is the skeletal system, because the sphagnum makes the rubbery or dissolving them completely, the bones. So most of the time you have just the skeleton left over and everything else is gone from a body. This is like completely the opposite. You have everything else except for the bones.
That's weird.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah, for real. Peat moss also contains humic acid, which sucks water from soft tissue, turning the skin into a bronzed hide. This chemical reaction allows us to speculate on the violent deaths that occurred, because you can still see so many of the wounds and shit. So one of the bodies was called I can't say, it's YDE. So the Id Girl, that's what I'm going to say. So there's these peat cutters, and they found the Id Girl in a Dutch bog in 1897. And they were initially scared away because she had vibrant red hair, and they thought that they came upon the fucking devil. They thought it was fucking Satan out there and shit. And,
Wow.
but a letter that was put in the local newspaper about it attracted the attention of archaeologists, who then excavated the 16-year-old girl's body. And they learned that actually she was blonde, but there's these tannins in the bog that had turned her hair fiery red. So that's why it looked like that. They also found out that she'd been strangled with a woolen belt and stabbed above her left collarbone sometime between 54 BC and 128 AD. CT scans revealed that she had scoliosis, and the alignment of her right foot suggests that she may have walked with a limp. And this led to a hypothesis that she may have been sacrificed because back then, whenever they saw physical deformities on people, they saw it as a reason to sacrifice people. So
Wow.
that could have been why that was. Her hair told another story. One side flowed down to her chest, and the other side was shorn off. And this medieval mark was what they would do to a cheating wife. And they said that maybe they killed her because of her infidelity.
Wow.
So then they find this other boy. He's the K-Hausen boy. The remains of the boy, he was about 7 years old, and he was found by a German peat cutter in 1922, and he was delivered to a local history museum in a wheelbarrow. The boy was one of the few. They found a few murdered children in the bog, and he said. They said that he was stabbed repeatedly in the throat between 500 and 100 BC, and then there was a defensive wound on one of his arms. His arms and legs were bound, likely to facilitate transporting the body to the bog. X-rays showed that he had an infection in the top of his femur and his tibia, and suggested that he may have been malnourished or had a disease that affected his growth. So, of course, they say that possibly they might have killed him because of that.
Wow.
They said, now back then though, they did say that disabled people held special powers, but the job could turn deadly if their predictions failed to materialize. So you could speak, you could fucking. There were certain things that you could think that a person could do almost magically because of their disabilities, but if they weren't doing that shit, then fucking, basically, yeah.
Wow.
So then another guy they found was the Holland
basically
man.
all of them got. Yeah, basically all because they weren't doing that thing, that magical power. It's disabled.
All right, so then they find this other dude, the Tolland man. This dude's perfectly preserved in a Danish bog, and the peat cutters happened to find him, reported him to the authorities, and they thought that they had found a recent homicide victim because that's how well preserved this body was. And he had actually been killed between 375 and 210 BC. And that's fucking forever ago.
That's
and
crazy.
You can see pictures of this one, and I mean, it's like looking at basically like fucking Han Solo whenever they fucking put him in the fucking whatever liquid Jabba put him in.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
No
it's
shit,
like fucking
really.
perfect. The archaeologists that examined the man, they observed a peaceful expression on his face, but then they noticed that there was a noose around his neck, and then they found out through radiographs that his tongue was distended, indicating that he had been hanged. He was a 40-year-old, and he was laid in the bog with great care, suggesting that he may have been a ritual sacrifice to appease gods in exchange for a plentiful harvest, which, of course, we heard about that before.
Right.
Cremation was a more common Danish burial custom at the time, but Tolland man may have intervened or may have been entered to the bog to provide the gods with a whole and functioning servant. It's fucking crazy.
Wow.
They're talking about. I got to talk about two more people, and then I'm done. So I'd say this is a longer one, but pretty cool.
Yeah.
Bog bodies in Northern Europe. So anyway, so this other guy is the Gronbell man, and he was dug up in a Danish bog again by peat cutters in 1952. Now this is a 20 to 30-year-old man. He had been excavated between 290 BC and 310 BC. Brutally. He had been hit in the legs in a way that made him fall to his knees. Then his throat had been slit from ear to ear. There was a dent in his head that indicated he may have been hit. But more detailed scans conducted in 2002 revealed that the dent was made post-mortem, and they said it was actually probably from the pressure from the bog, or actually probably from a young boy who was wearing clogs that had walked over the corpse during the excavation, which he later confessed to doing later on in life.
Oh, wow.
The Grobel man's stomach contents consisted of a pauper's diet, roughly ground porridge, and ergot, which is a mushroom that's now used to make LSD. His corpse showed signs of malnutrition, and experts have debated what caused his death. Some said that it might have been ritualistic, owing to the ergot in his stomach, but others said the ergot was actually a common fungus of the day, and the amount in the system was not enough to have made him hallucinate. So the last one they're talking about is the old Crowhand Man, and he was found. This is not long ago, 2003. Like I said, there have been 1,000 bodies that have been pulled out of this bog over time, but
Wow.
these were just some of them. But 2003, excavators were clearing a drain in a bog located near Dingan in Ireland. The Grobel Man, like the Grobel Man, old Crowhand Man, he was brutally murdered. He was stabbed in the chest, disemboweled, decapitated, and staked to the bottom of the bog between 350 and 175 BC. Unlike Grobel Man, he is believed to have been a person of wealth and status because he had manicured hands and his last meal consisted of grains and buttermilk. Now, based on these observations, they thought that maybe he had been a failed king, a royal contender, or a sacrifice to a fertility goddess. So yeah, that's the bog bodies in Northern Europe. That's some
Wow.
crazy shit. I didn't know nothing about that before. So.
That is crazy. That's interesting,
Crazy
though.
shit right there.
Very
Hell
interesting.
yeah.
Page a day, man. Not letting us down in 2023, that's for sure. All right. Well, guys, I think we have done our fair
Definitely
share
not
of murder
coming apart.
tonight. So I think it's time to crank up some fucking metal. And Joey, what the hell do we need to do?
Let's get our fucking cock and ball torture
Just because CK has passed on, he's not done educating the masses. CK will forever be the great metal motherfucker. We're here to stomp poser ass and eradicate the planet of their kind. CK has passed the torch to us, and we will forge the fuck on. In CK's name, we will bestow metal knowledge upon all of you.
All right. We are in the metal segment, guys, and we always fucking bow to the fucking amazing CK. Hard to believe it's been over a year since he's been gone, but we're fucking towing the line here and dealing metal every week, man.
Oh yeah.
And we're doing this show remote, so it's kind of weird with me being here by myself in the studio, but we're making the best of it. And we're here doing the metal segment. And Chris, you have the horns tonight, so that's how we do this now. We pass the horns every week. I had them last week, so I am passing you the horns here through the computer
I have the horn.
to you
I have the
over there.
horn.
So very good.
Oh, yeah.
So what did you decide to do tonight, Chris?
No, just keeping it, since we were already in Germany, just figured I'd keep it German. So I decided to do a family band called fucking Cock and Ball Torture. So, like, I'm not going to lie to you. I spent quite a bit today online. It's hard to find stuff on these guys, really.
Yeah, because the shit that pops up isn't music related.
It's not music related at all. It's literally cock and ball torture. So, so cock and ball torture. It's a gore grind, porno grind fucking band that formed in Germany. I didn't even bother writing down the name of the city because it was just too much.
Right.
Like,
What year did they start, Chris?
97.
97, okay.
1997, yeah. So they're known mainly a lot because they got fucking really like groovy riffs, fucking bounce to and shit. It's fucking really awesome, and a lot of pitch shifted vocals. But they're also widely known for their lyrical content. It's just pornography, fucking fetishes, perversions, fucking BDS, and whatever. Fucking, they like singing about that shit, and it's fun. Yeah, so like I said, it's hard. I'm basically just gonna go through the fucking album list, fucking members of the band, and that's hard to find stuff, dude, for real.
Yeah, so nobody said what their inspiration was for calling it cock and ball torture.
Probably just the porno fucking fetish shit. They're just like, how offensive can we fucking be? Like, that works, cock and ball torture. Yeah, I mean, they were influenced by bands like fucking Gut and Hemdale and shit. So like, it's pretty badass. And so, but anyway, in like '98, they put out their first EP, which is called Cocktails. It had 16 tracks of just disgusting fucking just grind porno shit, like all of it. And then in 2000 was their first full length, this 21 track album called O Pussy 4, which like now O Pussy is spelled Opus and the other SY is in parentheses.
Oh,
Like opus, it's like an opus of pussy or whatever. And again, just the same sick, disgusting jams talking about fetishes. And then in 2001, they put out the EP, 5 tracks of cover songs by other bands. I can't remember the names of the bands that they covered offhand, but it's that song's called fucking Fisting the Whores. So if the name of that album doesn't give you an idea of what they're about, there you go. Like Fisting the Whores. There's a lot of shit like that. Okay. And then 2002 was their second full length, Sadokism, which has fucking 15 tracks on it, and that's like probably my favorite one that they have. I listen to that one a lot than any of the other ones, but
I wonder if any of these albums were offered in the 12 records for a penny thing. You know, the RC.
Yeah, right.
Mom, can I have this cock and ball torture album?
Right.
Sure. Right. I got the 11 other albums. You
you
can have that one, motherfucker.
You might as well go ahead and just get the Pussy Slap album too. Fuck it. And then also in 2002, they put out another 6-track EP called Where Girls Learn to Piss on Command.
Love that. So
wow.
Good.
Right? It's really fucking good. It's a 6-track fucking EP, but the songs on it are fucking amazing and fucking love it. And then their third full length is 2004, 13 tracks called Ego Leech is how I'm going to pronounce it. It's EGOLEECH. Ego Leech is how I'm going to pronounce it. I don't know. I'm not German. And then 2006, they put out a compilation album of a bunch of their songs off different whatever, but it's called Cacophonious Collection, which I looked that up. Cacophonious is basically like putting a bunch of noises together to make a certain sound or whatever. So
like a cacophony.
Yeah, like a cacophony. Yeah, go with that. But that was the count they put on and then just in 2021, they put out compilation, CUM, not COM, compilation. Fucking, and it's just another compilation of theirs that they did. They took all their fucking songs off the splits they did with other bands and whatnot, put all them songs together on there. And that's the last thing I know if they put out. I'm hoping they're coming out with something new. It would be fucking cool, like new material. But yeah, other than that, they're still active and it's basically the same 3 lineup. Fucking Timo and Sasha Pacquiao, they're brothers. Timo does bass and vocals. Sasha does drums and vocals, and then Tobias Augustine does guitar and vocals. And I can't remember the dude's name, but like from 1998 to 2002, there was another guy that did vocals, but I can't remember his name offhand. But yeah, that's basically without fucking killing myself trying to find shit. That's their discography basically, the lineup, fucking what they're about, what they do. They like talking about weird fetish shit, and it's fun.
Hey,
and it's bouncy music.
That's right, and it's a German band. It fits our theme for the night, so all winter all the way around. Very cool, awesome.
Oh yeah,
good job, Chris. Now, I thought, with the Lost Classic, there were a few different things I thought about, and then I got, going with German bands here, so why not go all the way? And I came up with Creator, Live Creation, which is unfucking believable. For a live album, it's like a double album. It's fucking unbelievably good. The production is amazing. I mean, for them playing this shit live and they're legitimately playing it live, it's unfucking believable. Really, really great album from 2003. So that's going back a bit, but really good stuff. So if you're looking to get into Creator, or you're into Creator and you just never heard this, man, go check it out. Live Creation. That's Creation, of course, with a K, just like the band. So that's my lost classic. All right, what have we all been listening to lately? Chris, what about you here? I know you've been listening to some Cock and Ball Torture.
Yeah, obviously Cock and Ball Torture, and listening to some fucking Waking the Cadaver a couple times this past week. Fucking love those guys. And what else? Been listening to that Stabbing album still fucking more. Fucking that album's so dope, dude.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, other than that, just random stuff here and there. That's about it.
That's cool. Joey, what about you, man?
I was jamming some Necrophagia, Black Blood Vomitorium, R.I.P. to Killjoy from that band. I was jamming fucking the new Anal Stab Wound shit. I just got a package in from New Standard Elite, so I got that. I got the Dark All Slaves new album, which is fucking amazing. Them dudes are from France. And
Right.
I got the Execrescence album too. My buddy Max is the drummer in that from up in Washington. So yeah, a bunch of that shit. I got the Blondie Fester and Holy Cost fucking splits
I
today.
seen that.
Yep. So I got physical copies of that, the newest shit on my label, and the new Goremongers should be wrapped up within the week. So
Awesome. Awesome. I'll tell you, I've been just here lately. It's just been like one thing after another, just stumbling upon all sorts of cool shit. I mentioned this band last week, Horrid Sight. I've been jamming that new album, Evil Made Flesh. It's their only album, but it is unfucking believable. I also got and downloaded that new Obituary. I don't know if you guys heard.
I have not listened to that yet.
Dying of Everything.
I need to.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely got some good stuff on there that I think is a little different than what I would expect from Obituary, but it's still got that classic Obituary sound, of course. But I dig it. And then another band that I stumbled upon, that Riley Death Thrash, that guy that posts all that great shit, a band called Leper Colony. Been jamming the shit out of their self-titled album called Leper Colony. That's a death metal band from Germany, but fucking badass. Really dig those guys. Yeah, Leper Colony. You'd like them. Yeah, it's really good. And it's reminds me of a little bit of Obituary, a little like Morbid Angel, definitely, like old school death metal, but not real fast. There's a lot of like slower riffs. Definitely dig them. And then also been jamming the fuck out of Skeletal Remains. And I was telling you guys before we started recording that I was watching a true crime documentary, and they said, something about Skeletal Remains, and I was like, man, it's been a while since I've listened to those guys. I need to go check them out. And then I was watching another one, and they mentioned another band by name. In the true crime docs, they're always talking about blunt force trauma and all this kind of stuff. And sometimes they'll say a name that, like, man, that would make a really good band name. And then there's some where, like in this case, Skeletal Remains made me want to go check it out. And I've been jamming the piss out of them, So really, really like the true crime docs for all sorts of inspiration, even when it comes to my metal. So appreciate that. All right, bands. If you're in a band and you want to be heard, then get a hold of us. You could send it to me at pete@murdermetalmayhem.com. And there's no guarantee we'll play it. Just got another one in today. So appreciate the band that sent that in. We'll be in touch. I got to check it out. So if we dig it, we'll play it. Maybe we'll interview you. Maybe might do a review of it even. So just send it in. And you could do it old school also. Murder Metal Mayhem, P.O. Box 554, Hayworth, Illinois 61745. Stickers, yeah, some Pop-Tarts even if you want to be extra nice, but not required. Not required, but if you want to throw them in, we'll eat them, that's for sure. All right, the 666 Club, guys, that's our Patreon. We appreciate all you Patreon supporters out there, and if you want to get in on that deal, it's only $3 a month. That's patreon.com/murdermetalmayhem, and I'll link to that, as always, in the episode description. All right, guys. Well, we have done plenty of metal tonight.
Wait,
so
have we though? We seem like we've lost part of our structure. Where do we not talk about what metal we're doing next time?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think I left that out last time, so I apologize for that. Let me add that to the notes. So what did you want to say, Joey?
Because I think I got the horns next.
You do,
yes, sir.
Coming up. So what I'm gonna do, Chris kind of broke the mold back whenever he did fucking, an actual fucking musician instead of the band, and then Pete. We fucking did the badass heavy metal parking lot segment, which is awesome. So I was gonna follow suit with you guys, and since I've been so excited about returning back to Tampa to play Tampa Grindfest, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do Morris Sound Studios.
Awesome.
With emphasis on Scott Burns, of course, but yeah, Morris Sound Studios. That's going to be what I'm going to do for my metal segment next week.
That's a great idea. I think, Chris, weren't we, when you and I were talking about something you could do one time? I think I brought up Morris Sound. Yeah, that's funny you say that, Joey, because we had thought about something about that too. So that's awesome. That's a great one.
I know it's not like it's not owned by the same people anymore or whatnot, like the house it was at. But you can still go to it and check it out and see it from outside the gates or whatever. And I think this time when I go down to Tampa, I'm going to try to make it a point to go there and get a picture and shit.
Yeah, that'd be really cool, dude. That would be really cool. So yeah, Joey, thanks for correcting that. I somehow got omitted from the notes from the week before, and then that's how I forgot to do it last week. So Chris pointed that out to me, and I didn't realize that. So
yeah.
All right. Well, very good. Well, Chris, what the fuck are we going to do now, buddy?
Let's get our fucking mayhem on.
Hi, Hernandez Marital Counseling, a division of Benoit Anger Management. How can I help you?
I've been stuck in this house as a bitch for a fucking month thanks to this goddamn coronavirus. Fuck that shit. I fucking hate that goddamn beer anyway. Give me a goddamn Modelo.
Are you okay, sir? It sounds like quite the commotion going on over there.
Oh my god, she's going fucking crazy, man. She plays roller derby on Friday nights at the Legion. Oh my fucking Christ, she's coming at me with a goddamn knife, dude. Fuck!
We're offering our NFL special this month. That stands for Nice Fucking Life. We want you to have a nice fucking life here at Hernandez Marital Counseling.
Well, goddamn, that's going back a ways to 2020. Seems like forever ago. Hernandez Marital Counseling commercial. That was pretty funny. My wife, Jenny, on there as the receptionist. And Chris, you were the caller. That was funny. So
you
just
stupid bitch.
twisted shit, of course. And before that, speaking of twisted shit, some cock and ball torture and the song Enema Bulldozer, another love song. So
man, I've seen the videos before.
So yeah, that was good stuff, Chris. Always like hearing about a band I don't know anything about, and I really didn't know anything about them at all other than the name, and of course just kind of always chuckle when I hear it because I remember being at a show and hearing somebody screaming it out in the crowd, and it was just kind of funny, like, what was that? But cock and balls, holy shit. All right. Well, we're in mayhem, and none of us have a mayhem story specific to tonight. So I think,
Yeah, I really don't have anything.
yeah, I think that's okay that we don't have any. But this is
I
usually
mean,
that
we got an awesome cage match coming up, though.
we really
So
do. We really do. This is a
Yeah.
favorite of the listeners. Our killer cage match. That's when we have a list of 75 killers, 75 objects for them to fight with, and they're going to fight it out in the cage. And our listeners prick those random numbers so we know what they're fighting with and who they're fighting. So, Chris, who do we want to say thank you to?
Once again, we have the homie Justin Morris. We got fucking Juan Blessed with Pain Molina, and we got Ray Bad Mofo fucking McFalls.
Hell yeah, bad mofo, I guess, this week. Huh? The man of 1,000 nicknames. All right, well, we got a good one tonight in the cage. Joey, who do we have in this strange matchup?
Going to the Plainfield, fucking Wisconsin grounds to go find Ed Gein.
Hell yeah.
He's going to fight up against fucking the Vampire Dusseldorf, Mr. Peter Curtin.
Nice. And Peter Curtin's come up here recently a couple different times in our episode, so I thought that was funny when I saw he was the other.
Imagine having a German on a German night.
Yeah, right? Exactly. I didn't even think of that. I can't believe I didn't.
Talking about Peter Curtin, I think the first time I found out about him, I could be wrong, but I think so, was whenever I was growing up and the movie Copycat came out, and that movie's fucking awesome with Sigourney Weaver and Harry Connick Jr. But the serial killer in that, not Harry Connick, the other guy, I can't think who plays him, but his name in that movie is Peter Curtin.
Oh,
That's what he's going. That's what he's going by, his persona and shit. And of course, Sigourney Weaver figures it out. She's like, "Well, that's the Vampire of Dusseldorf." But I think that was the first time I ever heard the name, and then got interested and looked into it and shit. So
interesting.
Right.
Huh.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that movie before.
I don't know if I have.
Oh,
either.
you should watch that. You would like that shit.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it. Copycat, you said?
Copycat, yeah.
All right, cool. All right, well, we got a couple of objects for him, though, Chris. This always makes it interesting. What do they got in that cage with them tonight?
They got themselves a 5-gallon bucket full of glass shards.
Oh boy!
And a gun that shoots ghost pepper sauce.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that's good times right there.
And the variable, Joey, I figured you would like this one.
Yep, Freddy Krueger, and he just ate a handful of psychedelic mushrooms.
There you go.
Shit, yeah.
There you go. That could get interesting. And also, Joey, I thought you would like this. The song is Nookie by Limp Bizkit. So
You goddamn right. It's always Nookie by Limp Bizkit in my head.
Hey, speaking of fucking mushrooms, I just saw on the news that they're trying to pass a bill to legalize them, at least medically here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my
in
God.
Illinois.
Yeah, in Illinois, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Michigan's like that. Like in Michigan, you can grow up to a certain amount or whatever, and
Right?
yeah, pretty crazy.
Wow, that is crazy. All right, so we got an interesting one. We got Ed Gein and Peter Curtin fighting to death in a cage with a 5-gallon bucket of glass shards, a gun that shoots ghost pepper sauce, and Freddy Krueger after eating a handful of psychedelic mushrooms, and Nookie is jamming the fuck out by old Limp Bizkit as this is happening. So, Chris, what the fuck is going on, man?
Well, shit. So, like, fucking Nookie's just jamming in the back. I did it all for the Nookie. The Nookie. Take that cookie. So, meanwhile, fucking Krueger, he's tripping his fucking balls off, and he's down with that shit. That fucking beat's going, so he's just dancing around, tripping his balls off. Meanwhile, fucking Peter Curtin's eyeballing the motherfucking bucket full of shards of glass. He's like, damn, that's a lot of weapons I can draw blood with, and I need some fucking blood.
Oh, yeah.
So fucking, he's eyeballing it. He's going for it. He grabs the motherfucking goddamn bucket, and he grabs some glass, and fucking Peter Curtin grabs some glass. He's going to Ed Gein, who's fucking just sitting there minding his own business, fucking playing with corpses. It's like, dude, I don't want to die. Go find your own shit. So like, Gein's able to fucking get a hold of a piece of them glass shards, and he fucking just shoves that shit straight up Peter Curtin's chin just because he just wants to be left alone. He's an old man. Peter Curtin's a gross motherfucking too, but I don't know. I'm going with that Gein fucking over Peter Curtin. Meanwhile, Kruger's still over there jamming out the motherfucking Limp Biscuit and shit. But he sees that gun with the ghost pepper sauce. He's like, damn, I wonder how that ghost pepper sauce tastes on my motherfucking mushrooms. So he just like squirting some ghost pepper sauce on his mushrooms. He decides that's a fucking bad idea. But Ed Gein comes walking up with his box of vagina. And he's like, I did it all for the nookie. The nookie. And you can see the cookie.
Wow.
Goddamn, at that point, motherfucking Freddy Krueger, his fucking mouth's on fire, and he's tripping his balls off. He's like, wait, am I the one in the dream? Is this happening right now? And he snaps and he fucking kills Ed Gein because he looks like a fucking ghoul. And I'm giving it to Freddy. The tripping balls, Freddy Krueger wins the battle.
Wow. Okay. Joey, how do you come back from that one, man? That's a pretty good rendition.
I mean, there's no coming back from that, but so whenever the bell goes off, I mean, instantaneously fucking Limp Bizkit Nookie fucking kicks in, and as soon as you hear them first couple notes, the whole fucking crowd that's watching the cage match just starts moshing. So there's a huge fucking mosh pit going on around the killer cage match as this is going on.
Okay.
Freddy Krueger is fucking hyped. Freddy Krueger is like, this is dope as fuck. The fucking crowd's into it. Pretty good fucking scene. Tripping balls, so he's loving it.
Is Fred Durst dancing up on top of that cage, maybe?
Well, they're just blasting it through the speakers.
Oh, okay.
They got an Alpine amp hooked up to some badass Pioneer fucking speakers, and they're just jamming that shit.
All right.
Like out of a car, like you're
out of the
car.
Yeah.
So you know, Freddy Krueger, he's like, man, this is some dope ass shit. Ed Gein, he's like, God damn it, I don't know what the hell this shitty ass music is, or this goddamn whatever contraption I'm looking at, or this burnt up ass motherfucker over in the corner with some claws on his hands. But I do kind of like that and think I could utilize that. So Ed Gein, he's just checking out what's going on, and Peter Curtin, he is fucking drunker and shit. He's like, I don't even know what's going on. I just want to fuck something. I want to fucking drink some goddamn blood. I'm looking around. I see some fucking shards of glass. I can somehow get some blood with that. But Freddy Krueger, he's got other ideas because Nookie's just been pounding in his head.
Right.
And he's so fucking amped up. And little did they know, Freddy Krueger was actually in our dreams while we were doing fucking the metal segment earlier. So he was seeing what was going on. So he saw the cock and ball fucking episode of our metal segment by Chris.
He's already
he was
heard
like,
it.
okay, this is what I want to get into. So Freddy Krueger tripping balls fucking makes the dream occur. So all of a sudden Peter Curtin and fucking Ed Gein are wrapped up by the ropes of the killer cage. And
Oh, no.
brought down onto their fucking asses with their feet V'd out in front of them with their feet touching each other. So you have to picture this. They're face to face with their feet touching each other. And all of a sudden and Freddy Krueger slides over the box of the fucking, or the shards, and he slides over the fucking gun with the ghost pepper. And he was like, you're my pussies now. I want to see some cock and ball torture. And all of a sudden, then he just grabs a whole handful of that fucking glass and starts mashing it into Peter Curtin's balls. And he's just fucking shredding his balls with the glass. And Peter Curtin uncontrollably grabs the ghost pepper gun and fucking slams it into fucking Ed Gein's uncircumcised penis. Because I don't know if he was circumcised, but in this, he's uncircumcised. And all of a sudden, he just docks his dick into the fucking gun and blows the fucking ghost pepper in there, and cock and ball torture is just going on in the ring while Freddy Krueger's tripping balls until they die from fucking loss of blood. Freddy Krueger on mushrooms, he wins.
Wow.
Fuck yeah.
Both you guys pick Freddy. It's hard to fucking vote against Freddy. And with these two being smaller dudes, I mean, but you know, Peter Curtin obviously had his youth over old Ed Gein, but Ed Gein's a farm boy, man. He's pretty tough. So I kind of like the way you guys played that out, and I agree. Freddy Krueger, man, how do you
can't stop
vote
the Dream
against
Master.
Freddy? You can't. But I like that, Joey, that he was in our dreams, so we already knew what was going on. That was good stuff. All right, very good. Always a favorite of the fans listening, so we appreciate that. And thanks again to the listeners that contributed. All right, my website for my writing stuff, if you're interested in that sort of thing, horror, and I got short story collections. I've got novels on my website, PeteAltieri.com. I'll link to that in the episode description. I got some free samples on there, several short stories, and a couple of parts from my novels that are on there as well. So if you want to read some of it before you buy, that's fine. I got a good web store set up. It's all secure, and you could do the shopping cart, so you could pick multiple books if you like. I'll sign them. They all come with free bookmarks and posters. So, all right. And then we've got a website now, murdermetalmayhem.com. Chris, it's, a way our listeners can communicate with us.
Yeah, and you got to worry about anybody trying to edit content on our own website. We can do whatever the fuck we want on there.
Right, exactly. So murdermetalmayhem.com. Go check that out. We got a web store also. You can buy our t-shirts. We got 2 different kinds. Our activity book, getting ready to do a new activity book here coming up. So that's going to be awesome. We're kind of fleshing out the details, then we'll start working on that. So that's coming up. Okay. So murdermetalmayhem.com. Joey, you're doing all the artwork, so that's going to be great. We've already batted around a few ideas, but I like the Joachim Kroll idea you had. So that'd be a good one. And then it was Ricky Casso, and who was it partying with Ricky Casso? Oh, the acid bath murder, right? Or no? No. Yeah, so we've had some good ideas. We've had some really good ideas here lately. So that should be good. And go to murdermetalmayhem.com to do all that.
Wasn't it him and the vampire kid from Kentucky?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, for sure. All right, so we think we're ready to fucking hit that outro. We've done plenty of mayhem tonight, so let's fucking do it. Hell yeah, another great German band. That was Helldrifter and the song On Wings of Evil. Definitely dig those guys. I've talked about them before on here. Had a couple listeners say, hey, thanks for telling me about Helldrifter. I definitely started listening, and I like what I hear, so that's always good to know. Love turning people on to some new bands.
Exactly, yeah. It's fucking always good to hear that feedback, like, hey, I never heard of them. Check them out. I dig it.
Yeah. I think that's a real fun part of what we do, is being able to share that with other people, and then like vice versa, people telling us. All right, Joey, what about the bumper music tonight? Who did we play?
Tonight it was all fucking German shit. Cock and Ball Torture, Helldrifter, and Surgical Strike.
Hell yeah. Very cool. And Chris, that metal segment. Intro. Always fucking Christix, that great metal motherfucker. Yeah, that's just such a good song. I love those guys too. And the Murder Metal Mayhem
live at FTA was the shit.
Yeah, I know you guys were talking about that when you heard him do Great Metal Motherfucker. It was like, holy shit. Yeah, I know that song. We play it every week on the show. Murder Metal Mayhem's intro is, of course, by Low 12. So thanks to everybody out there listening. We keep seeing the numbers and listens, and just really awesome, approaching that 666,000 total fucking listens. That's insane. We really appreciate it very much. And we wanted to read a few comments. Chris, what about that first one?
Yeah, number one, fucking Jimmy Eat Your Mom.
Hell yeah.
like Kroll style or porno style?
I'm not sure.
But yeah, anyway, Jimmy Eat Your Mom says the Asbad murder was so sick. Loved hearing what you guys did with that one. I've been waiting. I'm listening to you guys every week in Topeka, motherfucking Kansas. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. That's awesome, man. That's
Appreciate you. Spread it out in Kansas.
Kansas is the location of a new short story I'm working on about this creepy old church. So that was kind of ironic. Cool. I saw that comment coming in. All right, Joey, what about that second one?
Astrid Constellations 5587 said, "You guys fucking rule. I really loved hearing Pete and the story of Heavy Metal Parking Lot. Just found out about you at Thanksgiving with my cousins. They were telling me about it, and I've been listening ever since."
Hell yeah.
Fucking A.
That's a good comment. Fuck yeah. Cousins sharing that shit. All right.
Keep it in the family, baby.
And then Aaron Kelly 5 comments, "Love your new website, especially like the CK page." So that's awesome. Got a little tribute to CK on our new website. So go check that out. All right, Chris, what about that last one?
The last one, we got Romeo O Romeo 69. That would have fucking. Okay. Says this is my new favorite podcast. I heard about you from a guy I work with in Tampa, and that was 2 years ago. I love this shit every damn week. So fuck yeah, fucking go to goddamn fucking Grindfest and meet Cashman.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, always good comments. They're good to hear them. You can also pick up my latest book, Slab of Sickness, Terror on the Tracks. Got those 2 stories in there that feature us in the stories. So you got to just get it for that reason alone. The new ending of the 666 Express, and then Create the Chaos, and the bonus story, Death of a Resurrection Man. I've gotten a lot of really good comments about those 3 stories. So go check that out.
It'd be a lot of work, but I know, you know what I think you should do for the next one you have us featured in?
What's that?
Like a choose your own adventure.
Yeah, I've done choose your own adventure with a few of my stories, but yeah, maybe I could do one with the next one. That would be fun. All right.
Crazy.
Check out murdermetalmayhem.com. That's our website, the web store, all sorts of good stuff. You could join the 666 Club while you're there, 25% off. So murdermetalmayhem.com. Joey, how about your distro? What's the latest? I know you mentioned it a little bit in the metal segment.
Yeah, I was saying the new Holy Cost and Blondie Fester album, Boobies, Beer, and Blowjobs, or Boobies, Beer, and Booger Sugar. Anyway. But that just dropped. Like it came out digitally fucking a week ago, but I actually got the physical CDs in today. New Goremonger shit is coming soon. I held shit in limbo for a couple guest vocalists, and then some of them kind of fell through. It fucking kind of sucks, but it is what it is, and I understand. So I finally just have to fucking get it out. I was telling her, I was like, man, I'm going to end up having the T-shirts and the stickers gone before the CD ever comes out. Like, it's so whack, because it was supposed to come out on fucking Halloween. Like, that was the initial release.
Oh, wow.
Fuck. Yeah, that's a long time ago from now, and like, literally my parts have all been done for a long time. So anyway, but hit me up, FTA Records. I got a lot of shit. Machete Dildo still in there. The Holy Cost shit, Goremonger shit, PTPP, fucking.
Hell yeah. And I linked to that in the episode description. Go do that and support Joey's distro. And you could like us on Facebook, at least the group. We don't have a page anymore. Thanks to those douchebags over there. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You could support the show by joining that 666 Club on our Patreon. And I linked to that in the episode description. That's just $3 a month, and that helps pay the bills here at Horns High. So thank you all those that do that already. All right, well, we can't let them go without hearing a karaoke song. This is a blast from my past. So crank this one the fuck up, and until next time, keep one foot in the gutter.
And keep your fist shoving kids' entrails down the toilet.
cops on the run. Kill Boogeyman and Snowtown. Sing out a song of good cheer. Now time to roll out the barrel. Bunting's gang's all here. Roll out the barrel. We'll have a barrel of fun. Roll out the barrel. We've got the cops on the run. Kill Boogeyman and Snowtown. Sing out a song of good cheer. It's time to roll out the barrel. Bunting's gang's all here. Roll out the barrel. We'll have a barrel of fun. Roll out the barrel. We got the cops on the run. Kill Boogeyman and Snowtown. Sing out a song of good cheer. Now it's time to roll out the barrel. The fucking gang's all here, yeah.
A police officer said, I'm in a little place called Snowtown in a bank vault, and there are all these barrels.
Snowtown will always be synonymous with this horrific crime.
Mother, man.